What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Lunar Eagle Eye, coming to you in effect. And tired as fuck, I ain't gonna lie. It was a long night. Um, I really need to get used to not swearing. Cause unless you've been living under a rock, YouTube people have been sending messages to us guys that if we want AdSense, then we need to cut out the swearing. It's basically trying to make some cut out any offensive language. I think there's a load of BS, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't actually have the AdSense on my stuff anyway, so technically I'm free to do what I want, but if I ever want any in future, I guess this is the point they're trying to make, so we'll see. Anyway, enough of YouTube. Here to talk about the game, Arsenal versus Southampton. A team that is normally considered a bit of a bogey team for us. Admittedly, they don't normally get a lot of success against us at home. What I will say, though, is because our problem with them tends to be away. But what I will say, though, is that this is not Koeman's Southampton. This is not Pochettino's Southampton. This is, I don't even know his name. I can't even remember his name, but Wenger recommended him, French guy. Doesn't even speak English. Not entirely sure what he's trying to do with the team. I guess he's trying to make them difficult to beat. So they've had two points out of a possible 9, which sounds bad on paper, but you bear in mind they've drawn 2 of those games. 2 out of 3 of those games. So when you look at it more like that, then you think just like, okay, well, they're clearly trying to be difficult to beat. Which helps for us a little bit because there's a team which helps and doesn't help. It helps for us in the sense that, right, well, they're not going to be pressing us the way Southampton do. And I noticed that generally high pressing teams tend to have a lot of success against Arsenal, particularly lately. On the other hand, it does mean that the other thing happens, and that is that teams will sit back and park the bus, which is also something we don't like. So we almost cannot win in this particular situation. But it should be an interesting game. It should be a game where I'm hoping, in spite of the rain, because it is set to rain all day today, in spite of the rain, the crowd will be very buoyant, be very passionate. They'll be right behind the team. And there'll be a lot of excitement in the air for signings Mustafi, but in particular, because let's be honest, when you have a signing, it's always the attacking signings that generate the most interest. And that is to see what our boy Perez can do. I'm excited by him, I ain't gonna lie. Here's the thing though, I don't think he'll start. Now, I had a friendly debate with Wayne. You probably seen him a few times if you watch Gooner News TV. And generally, I pretty much, I think out of everybody on that channel, him and Mems tend to be pretty much what my opinion is on most things. So Wayne is probably very, very level-headed, very, very calm until some shit happens and then he loses his mind, which is pretty much what I do. So I like the kid a lot, I really do. Having said that, he felt that Perez was going to be the #1 striker because that's the most we've ever spent on a striker. For me, I disagree. I think as long as Wenger's there, Giroud will always be #1. I honestly think that's what he told Vardy, and that's why Vardy never came. I think Giroud will always be #1. I think the opportunity is there for Perez to dislodge him. And I'm not saying that Jura can't necessarily be made number 2. But in terms of how they start the season, I don't see Perez starting this game. And I know some people think he'll start on the right. And you know what? I hope I eat my words. I think if he does start, he's not starting. Put it this way, he's not going to start as our starting striker. If we do weed him into the starting lineup, it'll be on the right. Here's the thing, though. I don't even think he'll start on the right. I just don't see him starting full stop. You guys quote me on that. Fuck it. I'm wrong. I'll hold my hands up. But this is the team that I think. This is my 1 to 11 who I think will start against Southampton. So in goal, as per usual, the goalie picks itself. It'll be Petr Cech. Right back will be Hector Bellerin. Right back picks itself. Now, defense. So it gets interesting. Koscielny absolutely has had a great start to the season, actually. Absolutely goes in there. Definitely could see he's played for that new contract. And we should happily give it to him, FYI, if anyone from Arsenal's watching. Next to him is the interesting debate. Because it's easy to say, well, you obviously pay a £35 million defender. Rob Holding hasn't done anything wrong, and it would be harsh on the kid. Having said that, let's be real here. The kid has got a lot to learn. He's 20 years old. He's got a lot to learn. We can't be all calling for a defender, all calling for Arsenal to buy an experienced defender, and when we do, we bench him just because the kid is doing well. He should be doing well. That's why he's in Arsenal. So absolutely, let's play Mustafi next to Koscielny. Let's start that relationship nice and early and build it up for at least for the next few months to last for the next couple of years. So definitely Mustafi in there next to Koscielny. You put Mr. Reliable Monreal. I know he had a bit of a knock against Watford. I'm hoping he's all right. I assume he's all right. I've not heard any stories to say he's out. Admittedly, I've not looked at any Arsenal team news there, so you guys could inform me if he actually is injured or not. Obviously, if he is injured, then obviously Gibbs comes in. But other than that, just because I've not heard any stories that he's injured, Mr. Monreal comes back. Then on the right, so here's the debate. So we've got a few right wingers that we could play. We could play Perez, our new signing. We could play Walcott. We could play Ox. For this match, I would go with Theo. I know it's against his old team, but it would be against his old team for the Ox as well. I would go with Theo. I think Theo has had a decent start to the season, to be fair to him. Clearly has something to prove after being left out of the Euros, and that's kind of what I'm hoping on and banking on. He needs to have a good season. This is it for Theo. This is make or break for Theo right now. I personally think we could have and perhaps should have got rid of him in the summer. But if he's going to come in and he's going to show us finally what the fuck we've been waiting for 10 years, then I'm all for it. So good luck to him, but we need to see some results now. So I'm all for Theo coming on. I'm all for Theo coming in on the right. That's fine, not a problem. In the middle, so we go through our triangle. So it's hard to predict with the triangle. I think you put Xhaka in there because I think, again, much like Mustafi, you didn't pay 34 million to bench the kid. So I think you've got to play Xhaka. It's just about who plays next to him. I've always said this. I think El Nene's time will come. I think Coquelin's time will come. And yes, we should be wary of the counter-attacking, but I don't necessarily think it's the same Southampton anymore. For that reason, I would actually play Santi Cazorla. I think Santi had a really, really good game against Watford. I think you got to play Santi. You just got to play Santi next to him. So I'd be happy with that. Just in front, you play the best number 10 in the world as far as I'm concerned. You've got to play Mesut. So you play Mesut in that hole. On the left-hand side, I'm not all the way convinced you should be playing on the left. And I think throughout the season, what you might see is that he comes onto the right as Alex Iwobi comes back. However, I haven't looked at Arsenal team news, so I assume Alex is still out. I know he was only due out for a month, but I assume he's still out. And in which case, I think you've got to play Alexis on the left. And then up front, who do you go with? Do you go with Perez? Do you go with Akpom? I'm not a massive advocate of the man. And I have heard of people's argument about how he would play into Font's hands, how he would play into Van Dijk's hands, and I get that. I would actually play Giroud up front. I think why not? Let's just play him up front. Play him up front for 60 minutes. If it's not working, or if we're 1-0 up, then we can change it. Because let's be honest, if we don't bring on Perez, there'll be a riot in the Emirates. I can tell you that now. They want to see him come on at some stage during the match. And I think most people want to see what you can do up front, even if it's just a 15, 20-minute cameo. Let's see what he can do. I don't mind not starting him, I must admit. I think the spotlight will really be on him. Probably more so than Mustafi in a way, because he's an attacking talent. So I think the spotlight will really be on him. And I think just to kind of ease the pressure a little bit, I would take him just slightly out of the spotlight and start Giroud. You know, if he is going to start as your number one striker, I guess he's got to feel like he's your number one striker. So let's start him, see what he can do, and then have Perez run at those defenders for the last 15, 20 minutes. I think he can cause problems. So I'd be all happy with that team, to be honest. My prediction, so I've wavered between 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. I'll go with my Super 6 prediction. So I'll go with 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal. I think we'll concede a stupid little goal. But all in all, I think it will be a comfortable win. I just feel like the feel-good factor is there with Arsenal. Perez didn't go on any international duty, so I think he's had a full training session with the Arsenal team. And that might be where I think perhaps Wayne may have a very valid point, in that because he's not been on international duty, technically he's fresher than Giroud, who was heavily criticised again for France when he played. And to be fair, he fucking stunk up the joint. I ain't gonna lie, he absolutely stunk up the joint. So yeah, I think that would be a good team to go for, but I also think that the feel-good factor is there. I think we're going to start seeing a really good partnership between Koscielny and Mustafi, and really start to get our season on track. It's not off track per se. The loss against Liverpool hurt. The Leicester draw was more tinged with the fact that we hadn't signed anybody. The Watford victory kind of restored faith a little bit. I think a really concrete win against Southampton, it will be just what the doctor ordered for us lot. It's in the 3-1. And that's pretty much it. Tuned later on, I'm going to try and do a review video with my boy Jay, which will be interesting because we'll be sharing one mic here because I'm not able to do it at his house. Plus, he might as well because we're actually watching the boxing fight together, so you actually get to meet a genuine personal friend of mine and hear his opinions on football. So that'll be interesting for you guys. Other than that, it's pretty much all I've got to say, really. Take care. Stay tuned. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at Colossal Chig. Similarly, down below, you can subscribe if you haven't already. And in the meantime, take care. Peace.